If you cannot control your mouth, you will speak yourself out of opportunities. Think about it carefully. So many people lose golden chances not because they lack talent, intelligence, or skill, but simply because they could not keep their words under control. Words are free, but the cost of using them wrongly can be unbearable. One careless sentence can destroy trust that took years to build. One moment of arrogance can close doors that may never open again. Life often tests us not in how much we can speak, but in how much we can stay silent when silence is wiser than speech. Opportunities do not come with a guarantee, they come with conditions. One of those conditions is respect. If people do not feel respected when they talk to you, they will not invest their time, energy, or resources in you. The problem is that many people think speaking more makes them look smart or important. In reality, speaking less but with clarity makes you powerful. Control over your mouth shows maturity, discipline, and wisdom. Those who speak recklessly expose their weaknesses, while those who measure their words demonstrate strength. History and experience both prove that people who climb high in life are often those who know when to keep quiet and when to speak. Opportunities are like visitors. They knock only once, and if you slam the door with harsh words, they may never return. Sometimes, you don't even realize you're destroying your future when your mouth runs faster than your mind. You may be joking, you may be frustrated, or you may be showing off, but the damage your words can do is permanent. An apology may be accepted, but respect once lost rarely comes back. There is also a hidden truth. Powerful people listen more than they speak. Why? Because listening gives you information, while talking too much only gives away your advantage. If you cannot control your mouth, you are not only risking opportunities, but you are also giving your competitors the upper hand. Wise individuals are not remembered for how loudly they spoke, but for how carefully they chose their words. Silence has saved more careers than clever speeches ever did. Opportunities often come disguised as relationships. A mentor, a partner, or even a stranger might hold the key to your next step forward. If you talk too much, interrupt, argue unnecessarily, or let your ego control your mouth, you lose that relationship before it even begins. Self-control in speech is not weakness. It is strategy. It is the art of protecting your image, your network, and your future. The most successful people master not only what to say, but also what not to say. Think of your words as seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the mind of the listener. If your words are full of negativity, arrogance, or impatience, you are planting weeds that will choke your own garden. But if your words are thoughtful, respectful, and measured, you are planting trees that will bear fruit for years to come. The world is watching, and the world is listening. Opportunities do not come to those who talk without control. They come to those who know when to speak and when to be silent. Master your mouth, because the wrong words at the wrong time can cost you the right chance forever. A person who loses control of their mood loses respect, trust, and leadership. No matter how talented, skilled, or intelligent you are, if you cannot control your emotions, people will hesitate to follow you, trust you, or give you responsibility. Mood is like the steering wheel of your life. It decides the direction of your relationships, your work, and your reputation. When you let anger, frustration, or arrogance drive your actions, you end up creating damage that sometimes cannot be repaired. Respect is not earned through words or titles. It is earned by consistency of behavior. If people see that your mood changes like the wind, they will not see you as dependable. Think of the greatest leaders in history. They were not the calmest because life was easy. They were calm because they chose self-control when chaos surrounded them. Anyone can smile when things are going well. But the real test comes when things fall apart, when people disappoint you, when pressure builds up, or when life throws unexpected difficulties. In those moments, your mood becomes your biggest enemy or your strongest ally. If you lose it, you lose respect. But if you master it, you gain admiration. People trust leaders who stay steady, not those who explode at every small challenge. Losing control of your mood also weakens your relationships. Friends distance themselves from people whose moods are unpredictable. Families suffer when one person's anger or irritation rules the home. Colleagues walk on eggshells around a boss or coworker who cannot control their temper. Over time, this instability erodes trust. People start thinking, I can't rely on this person. I don't know how they'll react. And once trust is lost, leadership collapses. You may have authority, but without trust, you cannot lead. Mood also decides how opportunities respond to you. Imagine being in an interview or meeting and someone challenges your idea. If you react with frustration or defensiveness, you show weakness. But if you remain calm, listen, and respond thoughtfully, you show maturity. Opportunities often come not to the most brilliant, but to the most composed. People invest in calmness because it represents stability. Nobody wants to build partnerships with someone who can be destroyed by a bad day or a harsh word. Control of mood is not about suppressing feelings. It is about directing them. Anger, if uncontrolled, can ruin relationships. But the same anger, if controlled, can fuel change and action. Sadness, if uncontrolled, can drown you. But if directed, it can give birth to empathy and creativity. The strongest people are not those who feel nothing. They are those who feel deeply, but remain masters of their emotions. Leadership requires emotional discipline because every mood you display influences others. Respect is built slowly but can be lost in seconds. One outburst, one uncontrolled reaction, one careless display of mood can undo years of effort. People will not remember every success you had, but they will remember the moment you lost control and hurt them. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it rarely returns the same. If you want to lead, if you want respect, you must train yourself to control your mood. Learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before responding, to think before speaking. Your mood is not just your private business, it is your public image. Master it, and people will follow you with confidence. Lose it, and you will walk alone. Money is not just currency, it is discipline. Without control, it controls you. Many people believe money is simply about earning more, but in reality, it is more about how you manage what you already have. You can earn thousands or even millions, but if you lack financial discipline, you will always remain in a cycle of stress, debt, and regret. Wealth is not measured only by the size of your income, but by the strength of your habits. People who understand this truth build lasting security, while those who ignore it become slaves to their own desires. Discipline with money begins with understanding that every coin has a purpose. If you spend recklessly to impress others, you will soon realize that appearances cannot buy freedom. The person who spends faster than they earn is not living a rich life. They are digging a hole that will trap them. Financial freedom does not come from making big money. It comes from making wise choices. The ability to say no to unnecessary spending is what separates the stable from the struggling. The danger of uncontrolled money is that it slowly becomes your master. When you cannot save, you become dependent on loans. When you cannot control your desires, you become trapped in debt. When you cannot plan, you live in fear of every emergency. In such a life, money dictates your decisions, your relationships, and even your peace of mind. People who lack financial discipline end up chasing money their whole life, but those who master control make money chase them. Money discipline is also about priorities. Every time you get paid, you are making a decision, whether to invest in your future or indulge in the moment. Those who save and invest consistently may not see instant rewards, but they are building foundations that last. On the other hand, those who spend without thought may enjoy temporary pleasures, but they sacrifice tomorrow for today. The real winners in life are those who have the patience to delay gratification, because that patience multiplies their resources over time. Another important truth is that money tests character. Give a person wealth and you will see their true nature. Some people use money to lift others, to create opportunities, and to grow communities. Others use it only for ego and selfishness. Discipline with money is not only about saving, it is also about spending with wisdom, with purpose, and with vision. If you allow greed to guide your use of money, it will eventually destroy you. But if you guide it with discipline, it will build you. Freedom is not about earning more. It is about not being controlled by money. A disciplined person knows how to live below their means, how to invest in their growth, and how to prepare for storms before they arrive. When you are disciplined with money, You sleep peacefully at night because you know you are secure. But when you lack discipline, every knock at the door feels like a threat. In the end, money is only a tool. But like any tool, it can either build or destroy, depending on how you handle it. If you control money, it will serve you faithfully. If money controls you, it will enslave you. Discipline is the thin line that decides which side of that truth you live on. Your mind is your factory. If it produces excuses, your life will be bankrupt. Every result you see in your life begins first as a thought. Your achievements, your failures, your growth, and your limitations are all manufactured inside your head long before they show up in reality. The mind is not just a place for ideas, it is the factory where your future is designed. If that factory is busy producing excuses, justifications, and complaints, then the only product you will ever have is regret. But if that factory is focused on solutions, creativity, and discipline, then your life will produce success and freedom. Excuses are like toxic smoke from a broken machine. They pollute everything around you. People who live in excuses always find reasons why they cannot succeed. I don't have the right education. I don't have enough support. I don't have the right timing. I don't have money. What they fail to see is that the most successful people also started with disadvantages, struggles, and obstacles. The difference is not opportunity. The difference is mindset. A mind that produces excuses never sees possibilities, but a mind that produces determination turns every barrier into a stepping stone. Think about this. If your mind constantly tells you that you cannot, then you will not even try. And when you don't try, you automatically fail. That is how excuses bankrupt your life. They don't just stop your progress, they stop you from even starting. Imagine a factory that refuses to operate because conditions are not perfect. It will never produce anything. Similarly, if you wait for perfect circumstances, you will wait forever. Success does not belong to the one with the smoothest path. It belongs to the one whose mind keeps moving forward, even when the road is rough. Your mind also has the power to multiply whatever you feed it. If you feed it fear, it will mass produce doubt. If you feed it laziness, it will mass produce wasted opportunities. But if you feed it discipline, positivity, and vision, it will mass produce growth and confidence. The quality of your thoughts decides the quality of your life. Just as a factory cannot produce gold from rotten material, your mind cannot produce greatness from negative thinking. Guard your mental inputs as carefully as you would guard your health. Excuses also create a dangerous cycle. Once you make one, it becomes easier to make another. Before long, you convince yourself that failure is normal and success is for others. This mental poverty is worse than financial poverty because it steals your willpower. A poor person with a strong mind can rebuild their life, but a rich person with a weak, excuse-filled mind will eventually lose everything. That is why mastering your thoughts is more important than mastering anything else. Your future depends on whether your mind is a factory of excuses or a factory of results. Every day, ask yourself, what am I producing today? Am I producing reasons to delay, or am I producing steps to advance? Remember, excuses pay you nothing, but effort pays you everything. If your mind works for you, life will reward you. But if your mind works against you, no one can save you. Control your thoughts, direct your mental energy, and turn your mind into the most powerful factory of success. Silence is sometimes more powerful than speaking. Control is strength. In a world where everyone is rushing to talk, to argue, to prove themselves, silence becomes a rare and valuable quality. Silence does not mean weakness. In fact, it often shows more confidence than loud words ever can. The person who speaks less, but with purpose, is remembered longer than the one who fills the air with endless noise. Sometimes, silence can win respect where arguments fail. Sometimes, silence can protect your dignity where anger would destroy it. Learning when to remain quiet is not just wisdom, it is power. Many people lose opportunities, relationships, and trust simply because they could not remain silent at the right time. Words spoken in anger, pride, or impatience cannot be taken back. They cut deeper than we realize and often leave wounds that do not heal. But silence, when chosen wisely, avoids unnecessary damage. It allows emotions to cool down, gives space for understanding, and prevents temporary feelings from creating permanent regret. Silence is not about being passive, it is about being strategic. Control is strength because it shows mastery over yourself. Anyone can shout when they are angry, gossip when they are jealous, or speak just to be noticed. But it takes true discipline to stay quiet when silence serves you better. It is easy to let emotions rule your mouth. It is difficult to let wisdom guide your responses. That difficulty is what separates the strong from the weak. People trust those who are calm, measured, and controlled because they know such individuals will not betray them with reckless words. Silence also creates space for listening, and listening is one of the greatest skills you can develop. Those who talk too much often miss opportunities to learn. When you are silent, you allow others to reveal their thoughts, their mistakes, and their intentions. This gives you an advantage. Great negotiators, leaders, and thinkers use silence as a tool. They let others speak, and in that silence they gain information, insight, and influence. Control of speech is not just about avoiding mistakes, it is about gaining wisdom. There is also power in the silence of patience. Life is not a race where the loudest wins. It is a journey where the most disciplined endure. When people underestimate you, silence can become your shield. You do not need to announce your every plan, your every step, or your every dream. Sometimes silence protects your vision until it is strong enough to succeed on its own. The strongest trees grow quietly, the loudest storms pass quickly. Choose to be like the tree. But silence should not be confused with cowardice. It is not about avoiding responsibility or hiding truth. It is about knowing when words will serve a purpose and when they will do harm. Silence in the face of disrespect may protect your dignity, but silence in the face of injustice may cost you your integrity. The art is in knowing the difference. That is where real strength lies. Controlling your mouth not out of fear, but out of wisdom. In the end, silence and control go hand in hand. When you master silence, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you gain respect, trust, and influence without shouting for it. Remember this: words may echo for a moment, but silence can echo for a lifetime. Speak when it adds value. Stay silent when it protects peace. That is the true strength of control. Self-control is not about denying yourself. It is about directing yourself. Many people misunderstand the word self-control. They think it means saying no to everything, living in restriction, or suppressing desires. But true self-control is not about shutting down your life. It is about steering it in the right direction. It is the art of managing your energy, time, emotions, and actions so that they lead you to growth instead of destruction. A river with no boundaries becomes a flood, but the same river, when directed, powers cities, feeds lands, and sustains life. That is what self-control does for a human being. It channels your potential into results. When you deny yourself completely, you live in frustration. When you give yourself no discipline, you live in chaos. But when you direct yourself, you live in balance. Self-control is about choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. It does not mean you never enjoy life. It means you enjoy life in a way that does not destroy your future. Eating responsibly, working consistently, managing money wisely, speaking thoughtfully. These are not denials. They are directions. They are the invisible rails that keep your train on track towards success. Think about people who fail in life despite having talent. Most of the time, it is not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked direction. They wasted energy chasing distractions, giving in to impulses, or surrendering to emotions. Self-control is the difference between being busy and being productive. Without it, you may run fast, but you will run in circles. With it, every step takes you closer to your goals. Self-control is also a form of freedom. At first, it may feel like discipline is limiting you, but in reality, it is setting you free from bad habits, regrets, and wasted years. The person who controls their habits controls their destiny. The one who lets desires and moods control them becomes a prisoner of circumstances. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is being able to say no to what destroys you and yes to what builds you. That choice is only possible with self-control. It is also important to realize that self-control is not natural. It must be trained. Just as muscles grow through exercise, discipline grows through practice. Every time you resist a distraction, every time you stay calm instead of reacting, Every time you work, instead of making excuses, you are strengthening your self-control. Over time, these small victories turn into powerful habits, and those habits shape your entire life. Success is never built overnight, but it is always built on daily discipline. Directing yourself means you are the driver, not the passenger. You do not wait for life to happen. You decide where you want to go and guide yourself there. Without self-control, your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind will betray you. With it, you align all these forces to work in your favor. The world respects the person who leads themselves because only those who lead themselves are trusted to lead others. In the end, self-control is not about rejection. It is about redirection. It is about choosing wisely, acting intentionally, and mastering yourself before trying to master the world. If you can direct yourself with discipline, there is no dream too far, no goal too high, and no obstacle too strong. Your life becomes the reflection of your choices, and with self-control, those choices will always move you forward. If you can master your mouth, mood, money, and mind, you can master your future. Success is never an accident. It is built on discipline, and discipline begins with self-mastery. Life rewards those who can control themselves, because self-control is the foundation of trust, leadership, and progress. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not against competitors, failures, or challenges. They are against your own impulses, emotions, and habits. If you win those battles, the future bends in your favor. If you lose them, even the best opportunities slip away. Your mouth is the first key. Words carry power, and every sentence you speak can either open doors or shut them forever. A careless word can destroy relationships, damage reputations, and cost you opportunities. But a disciplined mouth earns respect, creates trust, and builds influence. Knowing when to stay silent and when to speak with intention is a skill that will carry you farther than talent alone. If you can master your words, you will protect your future from unnecessary damage. Your mood is the second key. Leadership, friendship, and trust all depend on how you manage your emotions. If you lose your temper easily, if you allow stress to control you, or if you let anger decide your actions, you will push people away. But if you learn to stay calm under pressure, to respond instead of react, and to carry stability in uncertain times, people will naturally trust you. Respect is not given to the loudest. It is given to the most consistent. Master your mood, and you will master how others see and support you. Money is the third key. Money is not just about wealth. It is about discipline. Without control, money controls you, keeping you trapped in debt, stress, and fear. But when you learn to manage it, save it, and invest it, money becomes your servant instead of your master. Financial discipline builds freedom, and freedom builds opportunity. Those who waste money lose more than currency. They lose stability and peace of mind. Master your money, and you will secure not just comfort, but independence. Your mind is the final and most powerful key. Your thoughts are the factory of your future. If your mind produces excuses, fears, and doubts, your life will reflect those products. But if it produces solutions, ideas, and determination, your life will overflow with growth and achievement. A weak mind looks for reasons to quit. A strong mind looks for reasons to keep going. Master your mind, and you master the ability to turn struggles into strength. The truth is simple: the world will not give you a future. You must build it. And the building blocks are your mouth, mood, money, and mind. These four elements shape your reputation, relationships, resources, and resilience. If they are weak, your foundation will collapse. If they are strong, your success will rise unshakable. Master yourself, and the future cannot be taken from you. Because when your mouth speaks wisely, your mood stays steady, your money works for you, and your mind stays focused, no obstacle can stop you. The one who rules themselves does not wait for luck. They create destiny. Your future is not in someone else's hands. It is in your control, waiting for you to master it.